on, girl, let's scream.
I am a god.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. This is the part where you run.
Come on, scream.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, and welcome to Let's Scream, a podcast where we dive into our favorite horror movies. I'm Parker Claus.
And I'm Stevie.
You don't want to do the bed?
I'm Stevie the elf.
She gave up the bed. Oh, you can be my elf. There we go. Today we're looking at 2024's The Substance, directed by Coralie Fargeat.
Join us as we journey to the set of Pump It Up with Sue and learn
Up.
all about the substance.
Girl, are you ready to scream?
Come on, Parker Claus. Let's scream. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, it's Christmas. We're doing The Substance. Mm-hmm. It was my Christmas gift to myself because I fucking love this movie.
You do.
And yeah, this is the first time that we are covering a horror movies in a while.
Yes.
So I feel like we're back in business.
Yes.
And we have lots of fun in store for 2025.
Absolutely.
Do you have any fun Christmas plans, girl? Family stuff?
Just doing family stuff. Like that.
Family shit?
Yeah, I have to go to a bunch of different ones.
Oh, it's going to be one of those kind of Christmases.
Yeah, well, it's because Keaton's family, it's like 3 different Christmases that I have to go to.
Oh my God. Wait, why are there 3 different Christmases?
Gigi's for Christmas Eve.
Okay.
Aaron's Christmas Day. And then Keaton's dad a different day.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
So it's like a lot.
That does make sense.
And then me, it's just my family. Christmas morning.
Yeah, and your family, I've been to your family Christmas.
It's chill.
Chill
We don't do stuff. Christmas
Yeah.
Christmas Eve is the more like hectic day.
Gotcha.
And then like Christmas Day is like, no, you get up early and you just chill for the whole day.
Chill.
Why would you do anything?
Yeah, you guys like watched movies, and a lot of you were in separate rooms too. I remember I loved your family's vibe on Christmas.
We're like, no, we don't do anything. We just hang out.
I mean, usually the vibe at my family's is kind of similar because it's everyone else in the like main living room, and then me and Brooke post up in the front room and play video games.
Heck yes.
My sister Brooke, so.
Are you gonna do that this year? Are you gonna take the GameCube?
Oh, you fucking know. James Bond. We played GameCube, Agent Under Fire, James Bond.
I need to get that one.
It's cunt.
You need to bring it here. I think I can download it to my Wii.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Okay.
I need to talk to Gentry to figure out how to do that.
Get it all figured out. But anywho, yeah, we're looking at The Substance, which counts as a Christmas movie.
No, there's 2 instances that I'm like, no, this is a Christmas movie.
There's snow.
There's snow, and there's Christmas wrapping paper.
And there's Christmas motherfucking wrapping paper.
So it's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie, and I won't be taking any further questions about that. I think The Substance is the best horror film of the year. I fell in love with it the first time I watched it. And the second time I watched it, I fell even more madly in love with it. And it's been really just stuck in my mind. And of course, as soon as I watch it, it was all like, oh, we had these plans to do No Scream November. Yeah. And we haven't been able to cover it because of that.
You were so mad.
And
you're like, anxious. I'm so mad about No Scream November. I was like, why?
I was like, because The Substance. I really want to do it. Yeah.
And now we're doing it.
So now I can shut the fuck up about it after this.
I think this movie is hilarious.
Funny, right?
I think this movie is so funny.
It's funny, but it also like has a lot to say. Yeah. And it's also pretty scary, like with some scary body horror going on for sure. It's not like a traditional horror movie. No. But there are some gory elements for sure.
It's also a huge love letter to Stanley Kubrick.
I think it's a love letter to a couple different directors.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like Kubrick films.
There's a lot of The Shining in particular.
Yes.
Throwbacks.
There's also Space Odyssey.
Yes, Space Odyssey. There's the music from Space Odyssey in it.
And there's another scene that's like very similar to Space Odyssey.
I think this is a love letter to Cronenberg films, which David Cronenberg is like the director of lots of body horror movies that use practical effects, like the creatures and stuff in this. Very Cronenberg vibes. But it's just a great movie. It has a lot of great references. Coralie Fargeat, she really like put her whole pussy into this movie. I fucking love it. Yeah. I think some of its strongest components are the sound design.
Sound design's great. I think the cinematography is great.
Great cinematography.
The script.
Hilarious script.
I mean, the acting is so good. Everyone
Great
looks
acting.
so good.
Yeah. The practical effects and like special effects makeup too.
Yes.
Make this so much fun.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll get into kind of all of that as we go. But I was just really impressed with this film and I was very excited to talk about it. I just want to get into it. How about you?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Any negatives though, really quick?
Well, I will say the first time we watched it, and it wasn't a negative, it is a long movie. But it felt long the first time I watched it. I was like, this is a little long, but I never thought anything could be cut. And then the second time I watched it, I didn't think it was as long. It doesn't feel as long. But
I feel that.
And I think it's a really good...
I think there's
the length is really intentional.
Yes, I agree. I think I feel the exact same way about the time.
Yeah.
Duration. But yeah, okay. Are you ready to scream, girl?
Let's scream.
Okay, so we start off right away. We see an egg yolk lying on like a surgery table. It gets injected with a neon green substance. And then it like duplicates itself. And that's all we get. We then see a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame being built for Elizabeth
Sparkle. Played by Miss Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. Is it Demi or Demi?
Demi.
I think she prefers to be gone by
Demi.
Demi. But I don't know.
Isn't that what I said?
I don't think it's what you said.
Demi?
I think it's Demi.
Instead of Demi?
I think maybe like there was a time period where she like really tried to push Demi. But after a while, I think maybe she's chilled out and she's thinking you can just say Demi.
You know what, girl? People don't pronounce Bjork's name right. So
there's a lot of people who we don't say how their name. Rihanna, right? Ariana Grande. Yeah.
So I think she got to the point where she's like, fine, I'm Demi.
Whatever.
So she's Demi Moore. I'm sorry, Demi.
I'm going to call her Demi just because I think it's funny.
Demi Moore.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, she's played by Demi Moore, but we're first seeing her Hollywood Walk of Fame star being built. But it's a montage, and over time, like, people start to lose interest in her as like a star. Like people are passing by this Walk of Fame star and at first it's like, oh, I love Elizabeth Sparkle, let's take a photo. And then it's like maybe one or two people are like, oh yeah, she was in whatever. And they just pass her by. Then it even gets to a point where first of all we see snow. So time is really passing because
and I'm also like in LA,
it's snowing. But whatever. I mean,
I think it has happened, right?
This movie exists. Whether or not it has happened, this movie exists in a weird universe. Like
but that snow proves Christmas movie. Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, Merry Christmas. You should end like Jingle Bells.
Jingle Bells right here. Merry Christmas. So, over time, people are forgetting about Elizabeth Sparkle. And then someone drops their burger on it and, like, is trying to pick it up and is smearing the ketchup all around. Yeah. And it kind of looks like blood. Which I think is some foreshadowing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Some major foreshadowing.
Uh-huh.
But not even in the way you think.
No. It's a twist, mama. We see the set of Sparkle Your Life, which is a workout program starring Elizabeth Sparkle.
So we're also in a universe in which people are going on to
workout specials
in like daytime television.
Daytime. Yeah, it's weird. Again, just like this movie exists in a very strange universe that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I think it works.
Yes.
I think it has to exist in this like super exaggerated universe or else the movie kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
We meet Elizabeth Sparkle. She's giving very Jane Fonda vibes.
Yeah.
These are the exact kind of moves that Jane Fonda would do. It's just your very basic instructional workout tutorial. I loved it. I would do this workout routine. I went through a phase.
Everyone do the Elizabeth Sparkle workout routine.
Yeah, I went through a phase where I was doing like these kind of, I would watch old Jane Fonda videos on YouTube. Vivian can attest to this. She would come downstairs and just watch me like in the middle, like, and 5, 6, 7, 8, go low, go high. You got it, like shit like that. And I loved it.
I do Jane.
I felt great. She made me feel amazing about myself. And she finishes the shoot by her signature, which is blowing a kiss to the camera and saying, in the meantime, take care of yourself. It's like her tagline.
And she blows a kiss.
Mm-hmm. And so after the show wraps, we see that it is her birthday. She's turning 50.
Mm-hmm.
She goes out into the hallway, which, like you said, very Stanley Kubrick, The Shining.
Yes.
This hallway looks
Except
like
this one's
it's from
squares instead of
squares.
I think
like octagons or whatever the fuck
or whatever
in
it
The
was.
Shining. Yeah, geometric pattern. It's giving very the Overlook Hotel vibes.
And it's the world's longest fucking hallway.
Yeah, it goes on forever, and it's decorated, adorned with photos of Elizabeth from throughout the years.
And she looks great.
She always looks good. Demi Moore looks so good.
Don't you mean Demi?
Demi Moore? Sorry. You're right. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Demi looks cunt. She's got long inches. She's got this dark share hair.
Well, we'll get into it because she's like walking down the hallway and people are saying, "Happy birthday."
Happy birthday. And at first she's like, "Oh, thank you."
And
it starts to become a little excessive.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. She's like, "Okay, thank you. Because I think we're already getting hints to the theme here.
Yes. And so,
which is aging and how women are expected to act what age.
I just never, with Demi Moore, I've never paid attention to like, not her, but like, I never like, she's somebody who's like age I never really thought about. So her character is 50. Do you know how old she is?
I know. Isn't she like in her 60s?
She's 62 now. She was 60 when she filmed this.
She's so gorgeous.
So like, that's me. I'm like, damn. Because I truly was like, oh yeah, she's 50. I truly thought that. I was like, oh, she's fucking 62 and she looks like that. I watched
Ghost when I was, I don't know, like 11 the first time. So that's Demi Moore. See how I said it right the first time? Demi Moore, with her like short lesbian haircut in that movie, doing like the pottery. So like, yeah, I can tell that she's aged obviously, but oh my god, she looks fucking gorge in this movie. So keep that in mind, that like Elizabeth looks great. So she notices that the women's room is out of order, so she has to go into the men's room for this pee, and she goes into a stall. This bathroom is also very Overlook Hotel.
It's red.
It's the red bathroom from The Shining.
Yep, another shout out.
She's kind of forced to listen as her producer, Harvey, played by Dennis Quaid, who's great in this movie, very funny. Love him in The Parent Trap.
Yes.
He comes in to take a pee, and he's yelling at someone on the phone, and she overhears him like basically talking shit about her because, oh, she's 50 now, we need to replace her. Somebody young, somebody hot. People don't want to watch an old lady on the TV. Yeah. Calls her like an old hag. She says, Oscar winner my ass. So, like, Elizabeth is an Oscar-winning actress who does fitness videos.
What did she do?
I don't know. She's not. She's either an actress or a model.
Because she never is, like, thinking about her, like, Oscar career. It's always the workout thing that she's going back to.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I don't know, whatever. It's just because this movie's in, like, La La Land, basically. And he storms away.
And, okay, this is something I noticed. I may have noticed it the first time, but I definitely noticed it this time. He didn't wash his hands, and that's all I need to know about this man. That tells me everything I need to know. That is one of those things, like, if I'm in a bathroom and I see a man just, like, come to the urinal and then leave.
Because it happens all the time.
It is
all the fucking
Girls, time. Do not trust your man. Make sure you have hand sanitizer on site, and you make sure that you have to, like, this is gonna sound weird. Smell your man's fingers, girl. And if you
your man's fingers,
and if you do not tell him that his fingers smell good, he is dismissed.
Okay. Stevie, I know you would come through with a Tokyo Tony reference. In the
You
Substance
are
episode.
dismissed.
Now take all your clothes off. Leave on your panties. Take off your bras. Play in your pussy. Let the person to your right smell your finger. If the person to your right says your pussy does not smell good, you are dismissed. Now.
Okay, no, it's so true. So he's nasty. Yeah, he's one of those straight men.
Wash your
Wash
hands.
their hands. We all know.
Wait, and this is post-COVID.
Post-COVID, mind you.
Well,
Although
I don't know about this universe.
This universe is weird. Maybe
They probably don't have COVID.
They've got workout videos. Well, I don't know. We then get a title card that says Elizabeth's name. This movie, what I will say, what I like about it, impact font, bitch.
Yes.
Let me tell you something about how impact font had me in a chokehold when I was in like 7th grade.
Was it because of Born This Way?
It was because of Lady Gaga's Judas cover, where she put Judas in impact font, and she took a picture. It was a picture of her computer screen, and she submitted that as her album artwork for Judas. It had me in a
The world was never the same.
chokehold. If you want to impress me, give me something in impact font. It'll raise my attention for sure. Elizabeth is out having lunch with Harvey. This scene is the grossest scene in the movie. Like, I don't care about any of this body horror, any of this gore. That does not even bother me.
Oh, this eating.
This man is eating shrimps so disgustingly, and like we're getting the close-ups, and the sound design is so nasty.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just nasty mouth
And
sounds.
I think this is such a big thing because he's kind of basically this whole time talking shit about how as women get older, they kind of lose it. And I think he just means sex appeal because she's like, what are you talking about? And I think he's talking about sex appeal. And it's just, he's being a totally sexist pig. And I'm like, this man is allowed to be this disgusting, nasty pig.
He's talking about like...
And you're judging her who looks, first of all, gorgeous. In her yellow coat.
Her kind yellow coat. I want this cunty yellow trench coat so bad.
It's just like, and I think that's such a huge thing is like, men are allowed to age, women aren't.
Exactly.
And men are allowed to just be
Gross.
disgusting.
He's talking about farting at the dinner table.
No hygiene.
Yeah, like he's just gross. And he's dipping these shrimps into this nasty, like, garlic butter sauce and talking with his mouth full. And
It's just gross. His hands are filthy. The tables, he gets up from the table and it's disgusting, his side.
And there's, like, a fly, like, buzzing around. This movie's gross.
The movie lands in her Chardonnay.
The movie lands in her Chardonnay?
The fly lands.
A copy of The Substance
Landed in her
DVD on
Chardonnay.
Blu-ray lands in her wine glass.
No, the black fly lands in her Chardonnay. Hello, Alanis Morissette.
It's black fly in your Chardonnay. Tell me why I have. Come on, Alanis. In my
like,
nose,
literally, I
bitch.
can't. Anytime I see that, I'm like,
Isn't it ironic? Literally. So
Don't you
she's
think?
like bummed out. He's basically just fired her because she's old.
Wait, I think that might be kind of what that's a reference to. That whole thing of being so ironic. Of like,
yeah.
Oh
isn't
my
it
God!
ironic? Wait.
did we just make the connection? That's what that fly's supposed to represent.
Coralie Fargeat, if you were making an Alanis Morissette
reference to ironic, to point out that that scene was ironic because he was literally...
You are a genius!
See, that's why I love this movie. That's why this is such a good
has
movie.
layers. It's like an onion. It has layers. And, okay, so we see Elizabeth driving home. She's just defeated. And she notices her toothpaste ad is being taken down from a billboard. And it's almost like they're tearing her face off.
Yeah.
And she gets distracted and she gets hit by a car and gets in this big accident. But fortunately, she's okay.
They don't have... She doesn't have anything.
She got out with nary a scratch. And we see her at the hospital being checked out. And the doctor tells her, by the way, Elizabeth Sparkle, my wife is a huge fan. And she starts to break down crying. And it's really awkward.
And he's like, happy birthday!
She does
It's
not
like-
want to hear that. Yeah.
like-
And the doctor just awkwardly, leaves. It's like, okay, bye. But a young nurse lingers behind and begins to examine her spine for some reason. And he says, you would be a perfect candidate. Never mind. and leaves. Later, Elizabeth is walking home and she realizes there is a flash drive in the pocket of her cunty yellow coat. And it says, The Substance.
Why is she wearing a wool coat in L.A.? What kind of...
Because she needed to serve the children. She had to put on that cunty yellow coat and be Elizabeth Sparkle for the children. Hello.
Amazing.
And then there's a note with the flash drive and it says, It changed my life. Then she's approached by this sweet middle-aged guy, and his name is Fred. And he says that he sat next to her in 10th grade homeroom. And he's like, you're still the most beautiful girl in the world. And he's such a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
She clearly, like, doesn't really recognize him. But she's, like, nice about it.
Yeah,
she's like, oh, yeah, of course. How could I forget? Da-da-da-da-da. And he hastily kind of gives her his phone number in case she ever wants to reconnect. We see her beautiful apartment with this huge window that overlooks LA. We see she got some roses from the production company and it says, you were amazing. And it zooms in on the were part. And she's kind of lingering on this and she decides to plug the flash drive into her TV. And she watches this like weird commercial for something called The Substance.
And what I loved about this, if you listen to how it is, it talks very much how like motivational speakers talk and like workout speakers.
Put that together.
You want a better
version of yourself.
Ooh, you ever dreamed? Yeah. I'm gonna give you the tools to do it.
You are the Matrix. Everything comes from you.
It's very sold like how a workout video is.
That's so true. Yeah, and impact font, bitch. Impact font. I'm telling you, it gets your attention. Yeah, it says
that's
shit
what they call
like
impact.
Because it makes an impact, bitch. Oh, we cracked the code.
It's very impactful.
Full. Impact font. So, so it says like one single injection unlocks your DNA, and it's this like really mysterious voice.
Yeah, kind of like cool.
It's cool. Ooh. Yeah, it's starting a new cellular division that will release another version of yourself.
A better version.
This is The Substance. You just have to share 1 week for one and 1 week for the other. The only thing not to forget, you are one. You can't escape from yourself. And she's like, what is this bullshit? And she throws it away. Then she goes to have a drink at the bar and she finishes her 4th martini and it's lingering on her back. She's wearing this like backless dress. Yeah. And there's lots of shot. You're gonna see every inch of Demi Moore.
Yes.
Demi Moore. Excuse me.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Put some respect on that goddamn mouth of yours.
I'm so sorry, Demi, but we see Demi's body a lot because it's emphasizing her aging and a lot of like emphasis on her wrinkles and
body dysmorphia,
sagging and stuff. Yeah, because we can tell that's all Elizabeth can think about whenever she thinks about herself. She is lingering on this young couple that's sitting at the bar, and she goes and she's lingering on her awards and her Oscars, and there's also a snow globe, Elizabeth Sparkle merchandise snow globe from her prime, like literally when it's an image of her getting her picture taken on the Walk of Fame. So clearly in her prime, and she just gets so mad and she throws it at this large photo of herself and crashes it and like breaks the glass. She decides to go back into the trash. She retrieves this thumb drive and she calls the number on it. And an address is given to her from the same mysterious voice. Ooh. And the next day, she even sees a job listing that says, searching for the next Elizabeth Sparkle, which, like, has to be so triggering for her. And she sees that she's received a package in the mail with a mysterious key card labeled 503. So she goes to the address, which leads her to this weird storage unit looking thing in like the middle of this sketchy looking alley. Mm-hmm. And the key card opens the kind of garage door, but it only opens halfway. Yeah. So she has to crawl into it. Listen to this, bitch. Little memento from my noggin. I was like, oh, is she going down the rabbit hole by crawling underneath the garage door, kind of? It's giving that vibe, right?
Oh, yeah.
So she has to crawl under, and she goes down this, like, dark, nasty hallway, and then she turns a corner, and immediately she's in this, like, beautifully lit, very sterile-looking professional room.
Yes.
That has just, like,
Pure
nothing
white.
but pure
It's
white.
the TV room from the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
From the Tim Burton Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so bright you have to wear those Willy Wonka glasses.
It's like, bitch, your retinas are gonna be destroyed.
Burn. Which, by the way, bring back Willy Wonka glasses, because I used to wear my Willy Wonka glasses all the time, and I felt so Do you remember my Willy Wonka glasses era?
No.
Moment? This is right when we were becoming friends, so maybe I was kind of phasing it out by then.
Maybe.
But I used to walk around with these big Willy Wonka glasses, and you could not tell
Like
me
round ones?
nothing. Yeah, big round Willy Wonka glasses.
And you're like, oh,
It was kind of, you could not tell me fucking nothing, but
I love that.
anyway, I digress. There's also lockers in this room, little locker room chamber. And there's only like one other that actually has a number on it, which I noticed this time. There's only one other marked one. All the other ones don't have numbers, but there is one that says 503,
Yep.
which the key card unlocks, and it has a package in it. It's a box labeled the substance, like this is it. So she goes home. We get it like an unboxing haul. Like,
Yeah.
unboxing the substance with me. Get ready with me while I unbox
Yeah.
the substance. There's an activator, stabilizer, food, and matrix food. All impact font labeled,
Yep.
by the way.
Yeah.
She goes to the bathroom and she's like lingering on her naked body in the mirror. We get more like, close-ups of her body
Yep.
and the effects of aging and what, happens.
Yep.
She finally decides to take the substance. She injects herself with the neon green activator substance.
Yep.
And then shit gets crazy, bitch.
Yeah.
We get like this crazy sequence of her being overtaken by the substance. Her back splits open. Sue comes out, bitch. Well, and then like in the whole thing, like her like pupil starts to like separate
and it turns into
duplicate
two different
itself.
color eyes.
She's got two eyes trying to pop out of its sockets.
and then she's like
Wild.
convulsing.
And there's like something growing out of her back, and then there's like a whole person coming out of it.
And then there's like a sequence where it's like a bunch of lights.
lights.
That is
Yeah.
in reference to Space Odyssey.
Okay, yes.
That's a reference to Space
Yes,
Odyssey.
you're so right. Yeah. Now, the more you're saying it, the more I'm like, oh, there really is a lot of Kubrick in
There's
this.
a lot of mostly The Shining, because there's another whole thing that's very close to The Shining.
Shining.
I think there's something else I'm thinking of that. There's another Space Odyssey reference.
Yep, music.
The music.
The music from the Space
from
Odyssey.
Space Odyssey. It's so good.
It's perfect. Another person emerges from Elizabeth's back, and Elizabeth's consciousness is transferred into this new person. This is Sue, bitch. She's a younger version of Elizabeth, played by Margaret Qualley. She has a perfect Barbie doll body. It's like tiny waist.
She's just gorgeous.
No tum, or like her stomach is completely flat. No turd in the chamber.
No turn in the
Twinks, take notes.
No, she ain't got a turn in the chamber.
She does not have a turn in the chamber. She's got like this beautiful round butt.
Yeah.
And of course it's like lingering on, how
It's
young
doing all the
and
same
supple she
shots
is.
that we can like very much. There's a lot of shots that are compared to Demi Moore.
Thank you.
Demi Moore.
Moore's body.
The-
And which just still looks great, by the way,
Yes,
like we
yes.
said.
But
But like
that's the
this
whole
is just the
point.
younger version.
And we can sorry about that.
Was that your phone?
No, it was
the
a
remote.
remote.
Okay.
And we can tell that this is Elizabeth Sparkle because she's looking at herself the very same way and like touching herself the
Yes.
very same way that she was.
Yes.
Because I know you the first time you watched it were kind of confused. You're like, are they the same person?
I was like, I couldn't tell if she could remember or not. Now it's like clear to me.
And it's like, no, she is, and she knows. It's just like, we'll get into it, just like a selfishness kind of. I think
Yeah.
this is a huge allusion to addiction. I think there's
Everything.
so many
There's
things.
so many things.
There's so many things this can be.
Also, this is such a cool shot of it's the way they did it is like you are Sue and you're looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Like directly on. And I think it's just like They cut a hole in the wall. Margaret Qualley is standing on the other side of it. The camera operator is like moving with her to mirror her. Yeah. And I think that's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Again, the cinematography in this movie, top notch, like we said earlier.
Yes.
Sue stitches up Elizabeth's spine kind of haphazardly.
Yeah.
And she also hooks her up to the food shit.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know how to describe this. It's like weird like separated columns of milk looking things in like a plastic bag.
Like a smoothie. Like a protein
mixture.
shake, basically.
Yeah.
That's split into like 7 days.
7 days.
It's like 7 days worth of food, protein.
And it's just like being fed to her like through an IV, basically, in her arm. And she just kind of leaves Elizabeth there on the bathroom floor, like
goes
willy-nilly.
to bed, and she's kind of still sitting there. Like, the shot of her in bed I really like, because she's kind of still sitting there like, is this real? Like, is this really fucking happening?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Just processing. And the next day, her nose starts bleeding. And she realizes she has to stabilize daily with the stabilizer.
So she has to take a shot.
Yeah, it's
like a giant syringe, and like
she puts it into Elizabeth's back and then injects her like spinal fluid out.
Yeah.
And then injects that into herself.
Yes.
To keep her going. And then her nose stops bleeding and she feels normal again.
Yes.
And it will only last 7 days. So she's realizing, oh, I only get 7 days of Sue, and then we'll go back to Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Sue goes out and she buys a cunty hot pink leotard with like a
because she re-notices the ad for
the next Elizabeth Sparkle.
And she's like, oh, let's do this. And then she finds this cunty, like you were saying, the cunty.
Yeah, it's like this fuchsia metallic one piece, and it has like a cutout on the side.
Yeah.
That shows off like kind of her abs.
Yes.
Again, it's no turd in the chamber.
It's asymmetrical.
It's so iconic, and she wears it with like a high pony with a scrunchie. She's got star earrings, pink eyeshadow, like a cut crease with like long spiky false lashes, and then she's got orange socks
and like a cherry lip,
orange socks, white tennis shoes. It's cunt.
Yeah, she looks.
Everyone was doing this for Halloween this year.
Yeah,
there was a lot. I saw a lot of Sues on Instagram.
Yeah. It was a good look.
It's a great look. We see 2 asshole executives auditioning girls to be the next Elizabeth Sparkle.
It was so bad. This one girl, they're like, okay, thank you, we'll let you know in a week. And she's like, it's my dream to get this part.
$3, 2 bags, one me. Like, literally.
And then
I would love to get this part. She leaves.
And they're like, too bad her boob wasn't in the middle of her face. I'm like, that nose. And as somebody who doesn't like their nose, ouch.
Yeah, that's harsh. Sue walks in. And they immediately perk up because she's Sue.
Yeah.
She looks hot as fuck.
At this point, she's only said like one thing. I think she's only said hello.
Hello. Or something.
And so she hasn't really talked.
And they ask her what her name is. She goes, I'm Sue. And it like zooms in on her mouth.
And then that's when we get the title card.
Sue. Yeah.
Impact font,
bitch. And Sue immediately gets the job.
They love her.
And Harvey tells her that he will work with her even when she has this weird scheduling issue.
Yes. And so this is, I thought, like, this is where, because here's the thing with this movie, I was like, oh, she's gonna fuck with this. Something's gonna go wrong. Like, you kind of already know. You're like, well, obviously she's gonna fuck with this. She's
gonna fuck it up.
And so I thought this was gonna be it, because she's like, I have a scheduling conflict. I have to go away every week to take care of my mom, who's very sick.
Right.
And I thought he was gonna be like, no. If you can't be here, then we're gonna have to get somebody else. And so then she was like, oh, I'll make it work. But no, he's straight up like, I will make it work. He
loves her so much.
Yeah.
That he's willing to just shoot every other week for her.
He's like, I'm willing to work around your schedule.
We get a montage of Sue spending the next 7 days doing photo shoots, rehearsing with backing dancers, while Elizabeth's lifeless body is just left on the floor of the bathroom. Like, keeps cutting back, and it's like she's chilling there. And at the end of the week, Elizabeth's food bag runs out and Sue switches back. So already I want to talk about what I mainly took from this movie as far as like messaging wise. I think this is a movie about a lot of things, but what I like to interpret it as is it's a movie on how we need to take better care of ourselves. That means like not only like, you know, working out and like staying in shape, but like being kinder to yourself.
Yes.
About your insecurities and building
her. She beats herself up so much this movie, and I think that's a big thing in this movie.
She just leaves Elizabeth lying on the bathroom floor. It's like you want to give her a pillow or...
because I was thinking, I was like, if that were me, I'd have a separate bedroom and just like, this is going to be your bed. You're going to lay in this bed. You're going to relax.
No, she just leaves her on the floor.
I'd be like, I'm going to give them facials.
Right? Like just keep her like keep a constant mud mask going on
we'll
her.
just mask you up, girly, for a couple of days. We'll keep the steamer on you. We'll keep you hydrated.
It'd be like playing with dolls almost.
Yeah.
Like give her a makeover.
I feel like I'd have fun with herself.
No, she just leaves her on the floor because that's what Elizabeth thinks of herself. It's so poignant. This movie's so good, guys. We're gonna get into even
another
more.
thing I noticed, the not just the cinematography but the editing and even the like color saturation is so different between when you're in Sue's week or in an Elizabeth week, because it's so much brighter. The cinematography is so much more fun and like zooming in
Sue's world.
In Sue's world, like everything's fast and cool and this is the greatest life ever.
It's like a music video.
And then when we get to anything with Elizabeth, it kind of every scene kind of goes on. Yeah, because Sue's are very quick, fast. Everything's happening. So much is happening. She's doing so much, whereas hers drag on
100%.
And so I think that's a big thing.
That like, definitely conveys how she feels about it.
And herself. I think that's why the film is kind of as long as it is, because they really wanted you to see the stark difference between their two like worlds.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's great.
Because once you get to, if you notice, like the way that they take the shower, like Sue is like she has her like chest forward and like her back arched, like. But then, like, Elizabeth is, like, hunched over in the shower. And it's
with her hair all down on her face.
And she's just, like, I think also the illusion of addiction. It's like, you have such this amazing high, and then the crash down, the come down is just so hard, and you just kind of go through these, like, terrible, like, withdrawals.
I 100% thought of substance abuse. I think there's a reason why it's also called The Substance.
Because she's abusing the substance.
I thought of that, too.
But, I mean, there's so many things,
brilliant.
Other themes that I've noticed. That's why I think this is such a good film.
Brilliant, guys.
There's so much to talk about with it.
100%.
And it's so simple.
Yeah. There's really not much story here as we go forward. Yeah. Just a lot of illusions. Back and forth. Allegories. It's a lot of
back and forth. So
great filmmaking. Elizabeth returns to the studio where Harvey comes up to her like, oh, hey.
Where have you been?
You. He doesn't remember her name. He's like, it's you. Already forgot her name.
Yeah.
He gives her a box with all of her shit from the studio just packed up.
Yeah.
And there's also a present, like a going away present, but it's wrapped in Christmas wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. But I saw on her calendar in the previous scene, it's the middle of May.
It's May.
So you can tell they were like, oh, we just have this old Christmas paper. We don't really give a shit to even buy her new paper.
This is a New Year's movie.
It's also a New Year's movie.
So this is a holiday movie.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, everyone. We'll get into that part later. It's a New Year's movie. I just thought of that.
Yes, it is. Elizabeth goes back to the pickup spot to get a refill of the substance. And then she spends the remainder of the week watching TV and just kind of sulking and being depressed that she's not in the soup.
I'm like, girl, why don't you go out and do shit?
Yeah, she doesn't even give a fuck. She's like, I'll just waste away. I just want to be Sue.
It's just so sad.
It's very sad. But then it's Sue time, bitch. So we're back in like music video mode.
Yeah.
Sue sees the butt imprint that Elizabeth left on the couch, and she just looks at it.
And the TV's like on, and she's like kind of like, and this is like when she kind of starts to like become a separate person.
She starts to develop a almost Jekyll and Hyde split personality. Elizabeth.
I can't believe look what Elizabeth is doing.
Exactly.
Just sulking around all day.
And she decides to build a secret door in her bathroom to keep Elizabeth's body stored out of sight. Like, she doesn't even exist, basically. And while she literally knows how to like install a swinging door for some reason, she gets a bunch of tools and she's doing construction work. And this douchebag neighbor, who's one of my favorite characters in this movie.
He's just like banging on the door like, oh my god,
lady!
Like, I haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah, he calls her like lady. Like, hey lady, keep the racket down. And he completely switches up his tune because Sue comes out.
Yeah.
He's gagged.
He's
like,
like,
her.
oh,
You're a hot chick.
I thought Elizabeth Sparkle lived here.
Yeah.
She moved out.
Yeah.
I'm the new tenant.
Sue. And she makes a really pouty face every time she says Sue. So yeah, he's all of a sudden like flirting with her, like, oh, yeah, I love when people are doing maintenance in the building.
Yeah.
Do you need a hand? And she just kind of like,
Yeah.
shoos him away, basically. Yeah. Then we get one of my favorite scenes in the movie. They filmed the first episode of Pump It Up. You've got to pump it up.
And this
Sue.
is just a twerking workout.
video. It's like not even like she doesn't even like, okay, and 5, 6, or now we're gonna do this. She just twerks the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of ass shaking and like kind of bad dance moves, I would say. Just very over sexualized. But this song goes the fuck off. Don't you know? Don't you know? You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. Like, I love this song. And it's shot just like a music video. She starts it with, hi, everybody. I'm Sue. Are you ready to pump it up? Let's go. And like, that's all she says. She's like really into it though.
Let's go.
And after they like just kind of like shake their asses for like 3 minutes, they like pose at the back of the stage, and then she comes up and she ends it exactly how Elizabeth did. And remember, take care of yourself. Blows a kiss to the screen. Sue dresses up like Catwoman that night. She looks so cunty, by the way. With like this long braided ponytail.
Yeah.
I loved this look. And she goes out partying with the dancers from the show, even though it's the 7th night of the cycle.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth is running out of food, and later Sue gets back and she's brought home a boy toy.
He's not that cute.
And he's not that cute. Also, his acting was bad. Oh, probably my least favorite performance.
No.
But he's gore. But he's like very model-esque, like
Yes.
very like the type.
Kind of, she would have been like, let me get that boy.
Exactly.
I can get any
And he's
boy
like a
I
motorcycle guy with like a motorcycle outfit, leather jacket. Yeah. And she starts getting a nosebleed while they make out. And so she's like, shit, what do? I want to fuck this guy, but I'm running out of time. So she decides to extract an extra amount of spinal fluid.
A day's worth.
From Elizabeth so she can last through the night. She goes back out to make out with the guy, and he goes, you look even more beautiful than before. Which I don't like that line. I thought that was kind of corny, but he unzips her.
His delivery is just really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You did ask me at the beginning if I have a negative, and I did realize it again this time because I knew I thought it the first time.
This
This actor is not good.
Yeah.
He was I'm glad he's only in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
He's not
It's a very
super
small
impactful
part
in the story.
He's just there to be hot, right?
He was, they literally pulled a model, I think, for this.
I think so,
I don't
too.
think they pulled an actor.
But anyway, he goes to unzip her catsuit, and blood and guts fall out of like her back.
Yeah.
And it was just a dream, though. It was all a dream.
And it was all a wow.
Oh my God.
Wow. She ate that up.
Oh, I can't believe that's how it ended. Elizabeth wakes up the next morning to find the apartment is a mess from Sue's partying. And Elizabeth realizes she now has a witchy finger.
Yes.
She has like a witch finger. Like it's all bony and
It's just like a
haggard.
really old finger. The nail is all gross.
Reminds me of Snow White.
Yeah.
When she's like, my hands, and like the evil queen turns into a hag. Very witchy finger. And it's a result of Sue taking too much extra spinal fluid.
Yeah.
She calls the substance number and she says, there's been a slight misuse of the substance. And she's asking if they can reverse the witch finger. But he says it's not possible.
He's like, no, what's been taken cannot be given
Cannot
back.
be undone. And he says, remember, there is no she or her, only you. Respect the balance. And hangs up on her. Then we get a great scene of the douchebag neighbor being like, Sue, I just watched your show. It was amazing. Pump it up, pump it up. Like, and he's like dancing to it. He's like, oh, yeah, I see you back there, but let me know if you change your mind. Pump it up, and like dances away. I love him. Elizabeth picks up some more substance.
Yeah.
And this time she hears some like weird spooky noises in the pickup room.
Yeah.
So she runs off to a cafe feeling like someone's been following her. Mm-hmm. And she is wearing gloves to cover her witchy finger. And an old man is sitting at a table nearby. And he says, it's long, isn't it? 7 days. And we realize he is the older version of the young nurse.
Yeah, because he has a scar on his hand. Because also, I didn't point this out. Elizabeth has like 3 little moles on her
abdomen,
on
right?
her abdomen, and Sue had them too.
Sue has them too. So birthmarks seem to transfer over
Yep.
to your copy.
Yep.
So yeah, this guy has the same birthmark as the young nurse. We can put it together. Oh, that's who that was. Mm-hmm. And he apparently has been following her. That was the noise she heard earlier. And he says it gets harder each time to remember that this version of yourself still deserves to exist.
And have a life.
Has she started yet? Eating away at you? Which freaks her out. She does not want to hear that right now.
Yeah.
After her witchy finger incident. Then she runs into Sue's fuck buddy, who's like a dick to her because she's now this like older woman. He's like, get out of the way, old lady.
Yeah.
Even though they were just
He's like
fucking the night
screaming
before.
at her.
Yeah, and the acting was bad.
Yeah.
Elizabeth decides to call up Fred from before, the guy who went to high school with her, who was really nice. And he is shocked. He's sweet. Yeah. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe you'd ever call this number. I'm in shock. And they plan to go and get drinks that night. Yeah. And he excitedly, starts planning this date night at like an Italian restaurant. And she puts on this very modern day Madonna looking dress. Yeah. It's red, but it has that Madonna shoulder pads thing going on with like the elbow length gloves that Madonna would do. Yeah. And which I want to talk about Madonna as we go along because I thought of Madonna a lot watching this movie as far as like how people talk about Madonna nowadays, which we're here on the Let's Scream podcast. If you have been listening for a while, you'll know we're huge Madonna fans. Yes. So I just reminded me a lot of her. But this is my favorite scene in the movie. She's got this cute dress on. She looks great.
She looks so good.
She's getting ready to leave. She's got enough time to go out and meet him. Oh, but then she sees Sue's billboard outside.
And that photo is inspired by Charlie XCX.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way.
The actress said she was really inspired by Charlie XCX pre-Brat. For creating Sue. And she's like, I thought she made fun, pump it up energy songs to work out to, and so that
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and Charlie XCX is what's hot right now. Yeah, she's young and fresh and new, even though she's been making music for a while now,
a decade.
But I feel like
over a decade.
I know, right? But now I feel like people are talking about Charlie now. This is the first time she's really been.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you know what I mean. So she's the current thing, so that makes sense, I guess. So she gets really insecure when she sees the Sue billboard. And she starts to feel like, oh, well, maybe I don't look good enough. And so she goes back into the bathroom. She gets a scarf so she can kind of cover up her décolletage, which a lot of women get really insecure about.
Yeah. Because I will say this, as an esthetician, you should watch your neck and décolleté every day, including your face. Because those areas can show signs of aging. And the skin is different on those areas. It's not as thick as the rest of the body, so it ages differently.
Hell the fuck yeah. See, this podcast is educational.
Yeah. So just make sure you're washing, moisturizing, and wearing sunscreen.
Period.
Sunscreen is the number one way to prevent aging.
And you won't need to take the substance.
That's the thing. Some of the things that happen to her, I'm like, girl, chemical treatment would help that.
Yeah.
The finger, I don't know. But some of the things.
The finger. I don't know how you fix the finger.
Yeah, well, you can't. That's the thing. Yeah. Hands show signs of aging the most.
I think that's why her finger is the first to go.
Because you can't, there's no rejuvenation procedures or surgeries for your hands. The only thing you can do is
You wash them, make sure you're wearing sunscreen.
Yep.
And that you're like, you can use products to help like retinols and like vitamin C's on them to prevent aging. But
You get arthritis in your hands if you're gonna get it. That's the first where you're gonna get arthritis.
Yep.
Then she changes up her makeup a little bit more. She adds a little bit more blush to make her look younger and more.
Too much. It was a little
I
too
think it was a little too much
She needed to blend it out a little bit.
But she was trying to make herself look,
Exactly.
like a younger, blushful, woman. And so she's like, okay, I still have a little bit of time. I'll get there on time. She goes to grab the doorknob to leave.
And she feels it's kind of like this. You see the Sue poster behind her, and it feels like it's looking over her shoulder, and so she kind of is like and she sees her reflection
in the doorknob. So it's like a warped image of her.
So
from a bad angle.
It's a really sad
scene.
I think this scene's really sad.
Devastating.
It's such a moment of body dysmorphia. Because again, every single person who probably watched this movie when she first got into that dress was like, oh, look at her. Good for her going out. She looks great.
I was like, oh, come on with the Madonna dress.
Yeah.
She looked great, but she decides to go back.
But that's the thing, and it's something that's so sad is sometimes we're our own worst enemy, and we just get...
That's what this is.
We beat ourselves up.
She gets so defeated, and you know what she does? She just smears her makeup all around and just ruins her hair. She throws a big fit. It's shot very scary.
Yeah.
Because I think it is scary that we treat ourselves this way.
Yeah.
I am not a woman, but I can relate to it from a queer perspective and from somebody who has dealt with pretty bad body dysmorphia. Yeah. You know that. I've always had body issues.
Yes.
I've had moments where I'm like, no, I look like shit. I don't want to go out. I look ugly. I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
And we should not treat ourselves that way.
Absolutely not.
Come on now. It's something that you learn, ironically, as you age.
And, that's the thing is, I always, this movie could have been so different. I mean, obviously, it's not supposed to, but, if she had, gone out, this could have changed everything. This guy could have, she could have really...
And he wouldn't have given a fuck about the witch finger.
No. He would, she could have lied and be like, oh, I got burnt. Or it was
exactly.
I had an accident.
Anything, right?
Yeah.
This guy would have been so nice to her. She could have, not even this guy. I'm sure she could have found some hot actor. She's Demi Moore.
Yeah.
She looks like Demi Moore.
Yeah, but she's Elizabeth Sparkle.
Yeah. So she decides not to go, and we see the texts from Fred being where are you?
I know you like to make I know stars like to make an entrance. He's being really
he was sweet.
And it's just really.
She just can't do it. She can't give herself a fun night. No. She hates herself.
So then she just goes back to eating and watching.
Stress eating, yeah.
And watching shit on TV. She's not doing anything.
But then, it's Sue time, bitch. And she pops open a Diet Coke, and it looks like she's in a music video again. She goes back to film some more Pump It Up, and she does a bend over move with her ass.
And then all of a sudden, her bubble butt, a bubble pops up on it.
Bubble butt bubbles up, bitch.
And she freaks
out. She sees it to me oh my god, she's clutching her butt cheek, and one of the PAs is oh, stop. The producers in the control room, he said he saw something bizarre on camera 2.
We see the camera 2 is looking directly at her
butt camera. Literally.
Her butt camera.
And so she's really nervous, and they're going frame by frame in front of everybody.
And so she leaves to her dressing room.
She screams at her assistant. This is her... she becomes a diva in
She's
this.
I need my...
my dressing gown.
My dressing gown.
Well, but it's in your dressing room.
It's in your dressing room. She's like, well, go get
it! Yeah, she turns into a huge bitch. And so, the assistant's oh, shit, okay. And, gives her a dressing gown. She puts it on.
Immediately leaves. She's like, I need 5.
It could be 5. And she reaches down to, the bubble on her butt cheek. And then she pushes it up through to her belly button.
And pulls out a
chicken wing, bitch! A fucking chicken wing!
On the bone and all. And then it was all a dream.
Yeah, a lot of the body horror in this is Sue, having insecurities about how Elizabeth treats her body. Yes. It's kind of weird how it goes. But yeah, that was just a nightmare. But I remember watching this for the first time and being not the chicken wing out of the belly button.
Out of the belly button.
Crazy, bitch. Sue wakes up to find that the apartment is a mess and that there are half-eaten dinner plates all over because Elizabeth's been binge eating. She goes to set, but no one's there.
They're closing it down.
And the production assistant comes up. Harvey wants to talk to you right now in his
He's like,
office.
oh, let me go change. And he's like, no. Immediately.
He said immediately. So Sue thinks she's in big trouble. Okay, did the chicken wing thing actually happen? No. They're actually promoting her.
Because they went from 45 thousand viewers to over 200,000 viewers.
Yeah, something
and like,
crazy.
girl, we cannot have you on daytime. You need to be prime time.
And Harvey tells her that he wants her to star in the New Year's Eve show. Which I guess is
Happy
like
New
a
Year's,
huge
everyone!
deal.
Because they get 50 million viewers. That's the top. He's like, basically, that's the top. That's as big as you can get.
So, obviously, she's excited. We see a montage of Sue continuing to extract more and more spinal fluid. Which
Yeah, she keeps coming in and be like, oh, we're doing cover of Vogue. Oh,
yeah,
we have a red carpet event. Oh, we have this. I just need one more day.
And she says, well, and she's talking to Elizabeth, who's like lying there, and she's like, you of all people would know what it's, how important this is.
Yeah.
You only get one opportunity, da-da-da-da. And she's extracting so much spinal fluid that it forms this pussy welt on the back of Elizabeth's back. And the next time Elizabeth wakes up, because there's no more food, we hear her scream in horror from the bathroom.
Yeah.
She has aged rapidly. Her hair is
half her face is really aged. Her hair is grayed.
Her skin is all wrinkly, and her leg has become this like bulky distortion.
Yeah.
And she calls the substance, who offers like, well, do you want to stop? You can stop at any time. And she can't bring herself to stop.
Yeah. She's like, no.
She's addicted to being
just
Sue.
needs to be respected.
This is a meme. People have been using this as a reaction meme so much recently. But it's the balance just needs to be respected. And then he goes, so respect it. Click. The line ends and she's like, oh fuck. Like buries her head down.
Yes.
Like,
And she kind of keeps smacking herself to be like, oh, we need to. Like,
literally, she is beating herself up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She has to pop her leg back into place.
Yes.
Which is pretty gnarly. So she can walk over and get the present the studio gave her. And it's a French cookbook. For no reason. Again, it's just, I think that they just picked something random and just like gave it to her, like whatever. So she manically begins to cook a bunch of nasty French food. I love this scene. And she's watching this interview that Sue did for the new show. And this has become a meme too.
Yes.
Of like Sue being like the young ingenue. And then Elizabeth's like mocking her and stuff. Yeah. She says she's from a farm in Indiana. It's like a small farm.
Shout out to Indiana.
Yeah, that's where we're from. We're from Indy. But she also says, oh, it's been my dream, da-da-da-da. And Elizabeth goes, this is my dream.
Oh, this is my dream.
It's like, she's being like really witchy. It's almost like she's like got like a cauldron.
Yes.
I love, this reminded me of Snow White a lot.
Yeah.
I get Snow White vibes.
Well, there's also,
and Cinderella.
that would make sense.
And
like
Cinderella.
The old one is jealous of the young one. I think this is also kind of an allusion to how there's kind of competitiveness, or like how like sometimes the older generation gets young at the younger generation. For doing exactly what they did.
I've seen exactly. I've also seen a lot of people say this part reminds them of parenthood, having a child, like especially like how Elizabeth's body kind of like deteriorates as she gives birth to Sue.
Yeah.
And like Sue being like ungrateful for everything because she's like, tell them your beauty secret. You wouldn't even be here without me if it wasn't for me.
Yes. Yes.
I see that a lot too, for sure. Which I think again is just like an extension of aging. The whole aging thing.
Yes.
And we also get the line of Sue calling Elizabeth's show Jurassic Fitness, which really pisses off Elizabeth to be called Jurassic Fitness. So she makes this huge mess. She's like cracking raw eggs everywhere and like throwing them all around the apartment. And we get my favorite line delivery of the movie which is Sue the next day waking up to find the mess, and she goes, "Control yourself!" It's so, like, the way that Margaret Qualley delivers that is so fucking funny. She's so fed up, and so she decides to extract every last drop of spinal fluid from Elizabeth and just live as Sue as long as she possibly can.
Yeah.
And we get 3 months later.
Holy shit.
Sue is gearing up for the upcoming New Year's Eve show. And she even has, like, a little boyfriend boo thing that she's been saying. He's cute.
We see his butt.
Ooh, we do. I didn't want to spoil it, but yeah, we see his butt. She goes to extract some more spinal fluid. But now, the only thing that comes out is some black tar. Ew. And she calls the substance, who tells her that the only way to go forward now is to switch back to Elizabeth to reboot the fluid secretion process. So she manages to switch over, reluctantly, to Elizabeth. And the
This is what we just get.
The reveal of what Elizabeth has become.
This was the first time I was like, oh, this is
it's a comedy.
This is a comedy.
Yeah. So Elizabeth now looks like Gollum.
She kind of looks like, it's kind of, and this is, people have also said this is to The Shining. It's supposed to it kind of looks like the old woman from
in the bathtub in room 237. Yeah, for sure.
But she is like hunched over. She's like a Quasimodo hunchback.
Kind of looks like a goblin. You know what it reminds me of is that movie The Witches.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like.
And she has the world's saggiest titties. They're saggier than Mother from Barbarian's titties.
Yes.
That's saying something.
They are. It's funny. It's really funny.
And her, like, boyfriend hears her freaking out, and he's, like, knocking on the door, like, "Babe, what's going on?" And we get a great shot. Cut back
Elizabeth's butt.
Elizabeth's, like, weird wrinkly creature butt, and then cut in with, like, his scrumptious hairy
butt.
Young man butt.
It's a nice hairy butt.
They did not shave it, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
The gays appreciate you, Coralie Fargeat.
Yes.
And she screams at him to leave, and he freaks out. He's like, "What the fuck?"
And then he runs away, and we get more shots of his butt.
More butt running away. So she calls the number, and she demands that they help her stop the substance. Like, "I want to fucking stop! I want to fucking stop!" They're like, "Okay." So she wraps herself up in scarves and the big, her big coat, and, like, just covers herself up completely. And that douchebag neighbor comes out, "Hey, Sue," and she goes, "Fuck off!" And he's like, "Oh!" Like, flinches away from her. It's so good. She picks up a new substance package that has a new product in it. It's labeled Termination. She drags Sue's ass out, like, snatches Sue up, drags her across the carpet, and injects her with this termination liquid. And Sue seemingly dies. We see, like, a lot of blood coming out of her nose. But she immediately regrets it. She's like, "No, wait, you can't be dead. You're the only part of me that people love.
And
I hate myself."
That's that's the moment where it's like, that's what it all is.
Yeah.
There's parts of herself she hates.
Just hates herself. And she is desperate, and she hooks Sue's body up to hers with the switching tube things. And then Sue wakes up. Suddenly.
And they are just both like,
they're both conscious.
What the
yeah.
Because they're both like, how is this working?
Yeah.
How does this work?
Which, it's like true. It's like, what? This doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I mean, it's the substance.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? And Sue notices the termination liquid and is like, "Oh, this bitch was trying to kill me." So she begins to attack Elizabeth, and it's
she
so
gets
funny.
Superhuman strength and kicks her into the giant picture.
And she literally flies across the room. It's like, it's slapsticky. Yeah. It's so good.
And so then Elizabeth starts running towards the bathroom. Sue runs like Lady Gaga after her.
In the Stupid Love video.
Yes.
Yeah. She's got, like, her arms swinging up. And she grabs the back of Elizabeth's head and starts smashing her face into the mirror over and over again. Super gnarly. They have this whole show.
This is, I think, the most graphic. That's like the
definitely, yeah. And she smashes Elizabeth into the glass table.
And then she starts kicking her.
She kicks her to death over and over again. Elizabeth dies.
Fucking dies.
So with Elizabeth out of the picture, Sue goes to the studio to get ready for the New Year's Eve show, which is tonight.
And her ears start ringing.
Ears start ringing. And she gets dressed in this big, beautiful Cinderella, I noted. Very Cinderella ball gown.
Yep.
And she is all ready to go. She looks great, but then she starts coughing. And she's coughing and coughing, so she goes to the bathroom. She coughs out a tooth, Stevie.
And then she starts to pull out teeth.
Out all of her fucking front teeth.
I'm like, why
And
are you...
it is so gross. When I first watched this, I texted Stevie after because I saw this before you, and I was like, "That was so, like that movie was so gross." And I think I overhyped the gore a bit.
You did, because I did not.
But it's because
don't think it's bad.
Of this scene.
I didn't even think this scene was bad.
No, Stevie, when I tell you that
I know,
I
you
literally
did not like
thought
it.
I was going to throw up, and you know how gore does not normally bother
I
me.
know.
No, she's pulling. Because it's the full teeth up in the root, up in the gums of her mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated this.
Yeah.
But I loved it because the gore effects were so good,
Yeah.
and the sound of I keep saying the sound effect, the sound design in this movie makes everything.
Oh yeah,
because
because they do that the like
little like mouth sounds.
yes,
and
they make so
squishing
many
sounds.
like, and it's like ew.
Yeah. And so she realizes that she's dying without Elizabeth's spinal fluid to keep her stabilized.
And then she remembers she has a little bit of the activator left at home.
So she's like, can I make a better version of Sue? And so she starts going out, like she's trying to run home. Wait, this is like...
She runs into the main executive.
She runs into Dennis Quaid's character.
And all of his, like...
all the shareholders, I think. Yeah. Oh, Sue, this is our big star. Well, these are the shareholders. Sue, are you okay? And she's like kind of nodding.
Mm-hmm. He's like, then smile!
Pretty girls always smile.
And she gives one of those smiles where, like, you don't show your teeth. So, like, for anyone who is insecure about their teeth or had braces, you know this smile.
You know this feeling. But it's so funny. And this has become a big reaction meme of her, like, looking really scared and being like, what do I do? And she goes, and gives, like, a close mouth smile.
And he's like, yes, pretty girls should
Pretty girls
always smile. Which is such a, like... nasty sexist thing.
Horrible sexist. But then some showgirls walk by with like feather headdresses.
And he's...
oh, feathers! And let's follow the showgirls. And they all run away.
Yeah, they
like
all kind
boys.
of like are like skipping away too.
They're literally like little boys on the playground.
It's so like... and I think that's
funny.
again kind of like... because I noticed that like all these old men are like acting so playful. I'm like, men don't have to grow up.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't have to age.
Men don't
People
have
think
to...
it's charming when men age. They're like, oh, this sweet old man.
Oh, look at the silver fox.
Yeah,
oh,
silver
look at the cute
fox.
little old man.
Yeah. Whereas with women, it's always, oh, she's an old witch.
She's a cranky old lady.
Old crone, an old hag.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. One of her nails falls out when she's in the elevator. Like her, not like a fake nail, like her actual nail bed, like falls off.
And then her ear falls off.
Her ear falls off, and it's so the sound design's great because then all the audio goes really muffled,
like as if you lost your ear.
I love that like one of the executives comes in and he's like, "You look great, ready for the show." Like she's like holding her ear in place. Like what the fuck? It's so funny. But she's able to get home, and she grabs a little bit of that activator liquid she had left. And she injects herself with it, and we get another crazy body mutation
Something's
scene.
not going right because we don't get 2 eyes. We get like a billion
Bunch
eyes.
of eyes, yeah.
And we get the true diva. of this film.
Diva.
Monstro
Eliza
Sue.
who gets her own impact font title card.
So we are now in the
so
third
we know
act.
her name. And Monstro Eliza Sue is...
a Resident Evil monster.
I would say she's undescribable.
She really is. So, like, basically the front is Sue's face, but it's all fucked up, and we only get, like, a really little bit. And she has mouth, like, titties everywhere and mouths everywhere. And then Elizabeth Sparkle's face is on her back.
Coming off the back.
But she can't, like, move her jaw, so she's just constantly, like, ah.
She's got like the it reminds me of Angela at the end of Sleepaway Camp 1
Yes.
face. And
She's got like a weird extra
arm,
like a
hanging
selfie
off of
arm.
her.
on the
Selfie
back.
arm, so she can always take a selfie. She's got a third eye on her like forehead or not her forehead, but like side of her head.
And she's got like a tail.
She's crazy. She's Monster Eliza Sue. She looks crazy.
And she's got big like ogre feet.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just kind of like,
and honestly, she's hot.
the first time I saw this, I screamed the first time I saw The Hunchback. When I saw this monster, I lost
my fucking
shit.
mind. Me too.
I was like, what is going on?
It's crazy. Monstro puts on the gown, like
and
the
then
Cinderella
she puts
dress.
on earrings, but she doesn't have ears, so she just sticks them
Stabbing them into her skin. And then she tries to curl her, like, what little hair she has, but she cinches it off. Yeah.
And then we see her breaking into the poster of
Elizabeth Sparkle.
Yeah. And she cuts out the face and glues it onto her face. And then puts lipstick on it. And then she stumbles her way back to the studio. And when she gets there, the guy who opens the door, he's like,
we've been
finally,
looking for you.
We were getting worried. You're on in 5.
Yeah, your cue's on in 5. Hey, come on. It's so funny.
And then we get this scene. She walks into the hallway.
The shining
and they're
hallway.
all cheering for her.
Oh my gosh.
You look beautiful.
You look beautiful. But it was all just in her head. I think it's Elizabeth reminiscing on when she first got to the studio back in her heyday.
Yeah.
Because now, there's no one there. And all of her photos are gone on the wall.
Yeah.
It's only Sue, So we see the audience waiting for the show to start.
There's like a little girl dressed up in Sue's dress for the one she's wearing in the New Year's poster.
Harvey's sitting with the executives and the shareholders. And he's like bragging about Sue. He's like, oh, wait till you see her. She's my latest creation. She's a perfect specimen, trust me.
Yeah.
Hyping her up. All the dancers are topless.
Yeah.
Even though this is a daytime TV show.
Yeah. Prime time.
Again, we're in the Substance universe, so sure. They get ready to start the show. Lights, camera, action.
And then we get the Space Odyssey theme.
Dun,
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 dun, dun, dun.
It's so funny.
And Monstro Eliza Sue slumps her way.
She certainly slumps
on the stage. And she goes, I'm so happy to be here.
She can barely talk out of her crazy mouth. Everyone's like, what the fuck? Even the dancers are holding their smiles, but they're like, what the fuck?
I'm side-eyeing.
Side-eyeing. The hell?
I'm so happy to be here.
And then
the mask falls off.
The mask falls off. Everyone's like, what the hell's that? But no one reacts still because they're still processing. Then a weird titty
grows out of her forehead and just plops onto the ground. And that's when somebody stands up and just screams.
Yeah, and it's just chaos. Everyone's
and then
screaming.
Some people are like, it's a monster! Kill the monster!
Very, very Frankenstein.
I'm Elizabeth.
Yeah, very.
I'm Sue.
But it's me though.
It's me. I'm still me.
This was.
And I think this is a huge illusion to, even though people's bodies change, they're still them.
Yeah, exactly. But it's me though.
Yeah.
I'm still here. It's still the same person you remember. Exactly.
I'm Elizabeth. I'm Sue. It's just the voice is so funny.
And
this is also all practical effects except for Demi Moore's face is CGI'd on.
CGI'd. Yeah. And it looks so good. This is very Cronenberg, which you and I need to watch some Cronenberg movies. You'll understand what I mean by this being a very Cronenberg. And at some point, somebody is like, you freak, you monster. And he takes a music stand and he
smashes her head.
Which kind of explodes. But then
a new head grows.
And it's spewing blood.
Yes.
So she's spinning in circles. It's very Carrie.
Yes.
The prom scene in Carrie, just chaos and blood everywhere and the red lighting.
Yes.
Just carnage. And that little girl is covered in blood. All the executives are covered in blood. It's wild. Eliza Sue goes out onto the streets.
And then she
trips
and explodes.
Pops like a balloon.
She explodes. And then her face, Elizabeth Sparkle's face, manages to crawl.
Yeah, it's like this kind of weird jellyfish mound of flesh with just the Elizabeth face on it.
It like crawls to her star.
Her Walk of Fame star.
And then I think this is her, like, it's her dying, but she sees a bunch of stars, like,
glitter falling down. And I think she's like hearing the sounds of that day when she got her picture on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And then everything fades away. And then Elizabeth Sparkle just disintegrates
into a pile of blood. It looks exactly like it did at the beginning of the film.
With the ketchup.
So it literally was not just a foreshadowing of, like, she's gonna die, but a foreshadowing of she's literally gonna die on the star.
On this star. And then she becomes a washed up star when, like, the cleaning machine comes by and just, like,
cleans it up.
Cleans it all away. And the end.
That's the substance. Parker, you would take the substance. I know you would.
You know I'd
You've
take
said
the...
you would.
Well, I've seen What Not to Do.
See, I wouldn't take it because too many steps just to get it.
It is very convoluted and, like, only 7 days.
And I don't want to inject myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to use needles on myself. Sorry.
But overall, this movie fucking rules. It is so much fun. It has a lot to say.
Yes.
Ageism.
Which I think
again, like, we need to take better care of ourselves. Take care of your body now before you're older. So you can, you know, I was thinking about that a lot too with substance abuse as well. Like how drinking, what it does to your liver, what smoking does to your lungs.
Yeah.
All of the things that we do to have fun, you know, make ourselves feel good, but how they have like long lasting effects that are not as good.
Yeah.
That really spoke to me. Especially, we're going to talk about Madonna now too, because I feel like this is a huge commentary on how society views women as they age.
Yes.
And how they vilify women. We did kind of already talk about it, but I just feel like Elizabeth Sparkle is similar to celebrities like Madonna who have got work done.
Yeah.
And it's like they're getting work done to try and stay young and beautiful, which is what people want them to do.
Yeah.
And then you shit on them when you don't like the result of it. And then also, like, we disregard the amazing things that women have done as they age because they look older. It's weird. Like, people like Madonna or like Mariah Carey or Cher can do amazing, groundbreaking things and pave the way. And it doesn't matter anymore because now they're older. So she's an old hag. She's irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit that pisses me off.
Yeah.
I think we need to revere women when they age instead of disregarding them.
Because it's weird because men are allowed to age and always are getting respect, but then like women don't.
Yeah. And we also erase their legacies too. It's so crazy to me. But it's the sad reality. And I think this movie does a great job of holding the lens up to that.
Yes.
And just being angry about it. Mm-hmm. It's a very, like, raw, angry. There's lots of rage. And it reminds me of, like, Carrie and The Shining and all those movies. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't recommend it more.
It's a good one. It's a fun one.
Best horror movie
There's
of
probably
the year.
even more ways you can look at this film and the themes, and I just think there's so many themes, so many...
Yeah, I'm sure we've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah, that's what I love about this movie. I think it's one of those films that people will just analyze for years.
Yep. Period, girl.
Did you have anything else to add?
I'm sure I do, because it's just one of those movies that I could think of a million allegories and shit. But, you know, for right now, I think that I've said just about all I can say.
Same. I love this one. It's a fun one.
Yeah. So...
All right.
Well, that was The Substance, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Christmas. Oh,
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Are you going to be watching Monstro Elizasu on the New
Year's Eve show? That doesn't even have, like, a real name. Yeah, I think that it will be a very exciting lineup that we have in 2025 for Let's Scream.
Yes.
Things that we planned so far. I'm really excited for. But yeah, stay tuned. We're not going to give it all away yet, but thank you so much for sticking with us this year.
Yes.
This has been so fun doing the podcast this year, and I'm excited to see this podcast.
How we grow.
Grow, exactly, yeah.
I feel like we've grown a lot.
I feel like we have.
In the 50 episodes we've done.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I'm excited.
Me too. This is fun.
Well, happy holidays, y'all.
Yep.
We love you at Let's Scream. Please leave a comment. Let us know what movies you want us to see us do in the future. Yep. Let us know if you have any fun Christmas plans. We want to hear from you.
Yep. We hope you all had a fun time with us on Pump It Up with Sue.
Yeah, pump it up.
Learning all about the substance.
The substance.
Until next time, you can follow us at Let's Scream Pod.
Yes.
On all socials.
On everything.
And you can follow me at CBNash95 on Instagram.
And you can follow me at Parker_Will_C on Instagram. And until next time, this has been
Let's Scream. Bye.